And in case you're just joining us right now, we want to discuss matters, the TIMS, and what it basically means. And we're privileged to have all the way from the Kenya Revenue Authority, KRA, Andrew Momanyi. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
So in a few we'll be getting to so yesterday on the Daily Nation, actually ndio hii, yes, I'd love to get your interpretation on this cartoon before you actually begin.
Okay, so I see there is somebody with a jembe, I think he's a farmer. Then we have a broker who's trying to slice something which I think is income to the farmer. And he seems to have a bigger share than the farmer. And TIMS is coming that it also wants a share of the same produce. So they're all startled what that portends for them.
And also this is a conversation that has been going on, but then now today really want to get into, without getting into the whole politics of it, getting to understand for the layman, for this farmer mwenye kona jembe hapo, what does TIMS mean? For example, and how it definitely looks like, and why are we even having this conversation? We'll obviously be getting into our screen later on for you to elaborate for us this. But first off, what is TIMS?
So I'll start off by saying TIMS is basically stands for Electronic Tax Invoice Management System. It's a software-based solution which allows for electronic invoicing, or basically what people know as receipting. Anytime you're in business and you're doing business, for those who you're trading with, the thing that shows that transaction is basically an invoice or a receipt. So, and both those two solutions, we refer to them as tax invoice. And so with TIMS, it brings, it's a simple, flexible and convenient way of businesses keeping their records. Because when you're trying to come up with your tax liability and to be able to actually allow you to know how much you should pay, it does not mean that every time everybody has to pay taxes, because there are thresholds. So what will determine whether you qualify to pay taxes or not is basically the records that you've kept, and in a manner that can be able to actually be seen and accounted for. And so TIMS brings that flexibility to allow you to account for your records in a very simple manner.
You've mentioned for different businesses. So which kind of businesses is TIMS targeting?
It's initially it started off targeting the VAT taxpayers. And VAT has always been using a tool for accounting for VAT. Started way back in 2005 with the ETR, and then it came to a device-based approach, which is electronic, in 2021, and now for these other taxpayers. So anyone who's in business and they're transacting, then they need to record their sales in a digital manner, and anyone who's receiving purchases, then they need to also show proof of that purchase using a digital receipt. Yes.
It also targets those, because according to the on Daily Nation, so KRA rescinded the decision to accept farmers as well as small businesses now with an annual turnover of less than 5 million. So this means really targeting the small scale traders. So how has this been? I mean, because the threshold of this, the small businesses is quite large.
Yes.
So far, how has it been, the acceptance of this and the knowledge of this? Do people understand, do people understand the TIMS?
Yes, in the month of February, actually, we've been doing a lot of awareness and creating that information to now everyone in business. And we've gone almost everywhere in the country. And even this week, we still have teams which are outside and engaging the different players just to make them aware of this requirement to keep records in a digital format in terms of invoicing and receipting. And so far, the reception has been good because, with the informal sector, the biggest challenge that they have is when they don't have capital to invest in technology and also to keep their records in a manner which is easy for everyone. Maybe if they want to take loans, then the way they've kept their records is in a good way, and also in terms of the revenue authority and even for themselves. Because with anytime you're doing business, if you want to see growth or you want to see how you're performing, then your records need to be kept in a certain manner, and now eTIMS allows you to do that without so much worry of whether did I need to indicate the date, did I need to indicate it, the system will do it for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Now, because you're the technical guru on this, I'd like to request you to cross over to our screen so that we understand a hypothetical of, because we've seen the farmer on the cartoon here.
Yes.
So a hypothetical of this farmer.
Yes.
So how do they, get to tap into this items and cross over so that we can now actually understand how it goes about.
Sorry.
Okay.
So I think what we'll do is very easy. Mm-hmm. So assuming we'll start with probably somebody who doesn't have technology.
Okay. So if you don't, the kabambe amount?
Yes, the kabambe thing, because that's where I think that small farmer is. But there are some farmers who are very sophisticated, they have smartphones. So for those ones, we'll also show. Mm-hmm. So for those, we'll start from the small scale as we go up.
Okay.
So if somebody does not have internet, does not have a smartphone, and so they just need to go to *222, which is now the eCitizen platform where government services are being hosted.
Right.
Once you dial that, a menu will pop up, and one of the menus, number 5, is KRA. So under that, it will be listed as KRA payments. So you'll select that option 5, and it will take you to now another menu which has a sales invoice. So sales invoice, or eTIMS, you'll also find it written as eTIMS invoice. So once you find the eTIMS invoice, you select it, and it will be able, if you don't have an eTIMS account, at that point, it will register you. Mm-hmm. So it's trying to make sure that it's as easy as possible. You don't have to walk to KRA offices or even decide that you, once you select eTIMS invoice, if you don't have, it will actually register you. And you'll be able now to progress. You'll get a text message saying you have been registered successfully, and you'll go ahead and select the eTIMS invoice, and you only need to capture 3 things. Mm-hmm. Either the PIN of the person you're selling to, or the name, or the phone number.
A moment before we continue after registering. So what do you need to register?
You're just registering your account. Mm-hmm. So, for example, for KRA, it uses a PIN for purposes of identifying a person.
Okay.
So, under this point, to make sure that we get to know whether you are the person who has an eTIMS account or not, you'll just be requested to enter your ID, because your ID is able to link to your PIN, and now some verification details are like date of birth, so that we can verify it is you who's actually doing that. And then it will link to your PIN and see whether your PIN has an eTIMS account. If it doesn't, then it creates for you an eTIMS account so that you can move to the next point where now you go directly to invoice. So now you put your PIN, the PIN of the seller, sorry, PIN of the buyer.
Okay.
So these are we are capturing details of the person you're selling to. So I'm assuming that I'm selling to Stanley. So I'll put the name of Stanley, but if Stanley has a business where they need to account also for their taxes, then I'll ask them for their PIN. But it's just a normal person, then I'll just write your name or a phone number if you...
Okay.
And then the second thing, I'll enter the product.
So a quick one.
Yes.
Now for the person you're selling to.
Yes.
Now all right, you're actually now selling to me.
Yes.
So now for you, so do I have to be also in this threshold of small scale business, or now?
No. You can even sell to the big companies.
Oh, okay.
Because now what we are trying to do is to make sure we standardize the invoices, so that we don't say this invoice from Kabambe, I don't like Kabambe people. So the format of the invoice will come like it has been generated from a web-based platform. Because now you'll enter your PIN or name or phone number of that person. So for Stanley, I've entered your PIN, and then I say the product. So I'm selling maize to you. I put maize. And then the last part that you enter is the quantity. So you enter like if it's 10 bags, and then the price. What is the price per bag or per item? So here we can say it's 10, and here it's 1,000 per bag. The system will calculate for you the total.
Okay.
and it will ask you to confirm because the details will come. So you'll see a summary of the details. Stanley, maize, 10 times 1,000, giving us 10,000. Are you okay with that? Yes, confirm. And the receipt is generated through a text message. It gives you now, this invoice that you've generated is actually a valid receipt, and it has been recorded, and it has a number with a link now. So the link is what you can share with your buyer, and if they have a way of downloading through their phone or through a portal, then they can actually view the PDF invoice. Yes.
So that's for...
That's for the people with no technology.
All right, so now the flip side. So tuanze kupanda juu sasa.
Tuanze kupanda juu.
Kupanda juu. Now someone with internet, a very good smartphone.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's for the kabambe, the small-scale trader, the farmer, or the SME who has no technology and they're starting off. So on the fly, meaning that I've come to do business with you, and I need to give you a receipt, or I'm a boda guy, I've just given you a ride, and you're going to work, and then you need to go give the receipt to your employer. Very quick at the parking, you just do that, and you're good to go. Now, for the ones who are slightly above, we have a web-based, still under the same platform.
Okay.
You just need to go to eCitizen. All of them are being hosted at KRA. So what will change is the platform that you're using. So eCitizen at kra.go.ke. Now, when you type that on your web browser, it will bring you a page. So this page is just a page which has your credentials for eCitizen. So meaning that you can be able to enter the same credentials that you use for eCitizen services under this web-based platform. And it will sign you in, and you'll get now an TIMS page. And through that TIMS page, then you can be able to now do something we call activate. It's a self-activate. So you'll get to see the same. You remember on the other one we saw TIMS invoice? Yeah. So even here you'll see invoice. So under the invoice button is where now you will select a few terms and conditions, and then you'll be able to actually click activate, and there you have your TIMS account.
So for example, someone has the boda business, and also akona biashara ya ile mahindi. And also maybe others, maybe 5 businesses all together, running them hapa na pale. Do they have to have one account or different for each business?
That's a very good question. Now, what happens with TIMS, it's been tailored in different ways. If the key identifier is the PIN, so if you're using one PIN for all those businesses, then your account is one, because we are activating you per PIN. But if you have businesses which have been registered formally through Sharia, and then they have different business names, because we might have business different names. There's Stanley Restaurant, there's Stanley Courier, and they're all registered.
Something.
Yes. So it means that if you go to your Citizen platform, you'll find those businesses already there. So you'll choose which one you want to use. So it gives you that flexibility to even put a logo of your company within the platform. So when you open that account, you'll be able to see all the businesses you've registered, and then you'll be able to choose which one you want to invoice. And then it will be prompting you anytime you log in. Are you coming as catering? Are you coming in as this one? And then you're able to invoice.
Right.
So that's why it's good to ensure that our business are a bit formalized, to make sure that we can tap to the big businesses that would look out for now formalized way of records.
Right.
Yes.
Now, because you're the technical guru, and I'm pretty sure this is a question that many who are watching might really have.
Yes.
Because right now on the eCitizen at KRA.go.ke, and it's advising me to sign in, and probably learn more, and also register PIN, and also sign in.
Yes.
But for example, network hiyo siku imepotea. Now after probably now for the buyer and seller, the network is not really doing, because now we are focusing on someone who has a very good smartphone like mine.
Yeah.
So what now happens? Does it have to be instant, or there can be that delay and it's allowed?
Actually, you see now for the other one, doesn't use internet.
Yeah.
So now you can switch.
Oh, you can go back.
Yeah, you can go back to USSD. Because the details will just be the same details you're factoring. But you see, for these solutions we're offering for those who have minimal transaction, meaning that a delay of a minute or such would not be some big delay for them, because the person they're trading with would just require the invoice. But also we have other solutions that we've developed to mitigate such conditions, and those ones are the ones now you can install on your devices. Because you remember this is a web-based, so meaning that you need your internet to log in. But now there are others that you can install on your tablet, on your smartphone, on even your laptop and desktop and all those.
Right.
And now those ones have the offline capability without internet.
Right.
So it all depends on your setup, and then you choose. So these ones we are looking at the bare minimum, that the ones that you don't need to actually do a lot. And maybe that will bring us now to the second category, the third category, sorry.
Right.
No, the second category, where now we are substituting the eCitizen. You remember the two solutions that I've mentioned are being hosted by KRA in conjunction with eCitizen. So that's why we have eCitizen and then the KRA.
Right.
So the other one, we substitute the eCitizen and now put an eTIMS account. So it means that now you'll just need to do eTIMS at kra.go.ke. And now that one will take you to now an eTIMS page, which is different from what you are checking, which is, now for this one, is where now you select the softwares. Because now we've moved away from the small, maybe now it's a medium-sized. So now they need maybe a software to be installed. Maybe it's a shop, and they need a software to be installed in a gadget.
For example, maybe someone has a hardware.
Yes. Now those ones would require now a software-based where they install in a device because of printing capability, because of use based on somebody who's using, sometimes, I don't know whether you might allow somebody to use your phone as you do other things. So
Very rarely.
Very rarely. So that was what will now prompt you to go to the eTIMS account, where now you select which software you have. So under the eTIMS account, the various softwares that we have, one of them is what we call eTIMS Client. This is basically a software that can be used on Android and also Windows. So meaning if you have a Windows device and you have an Android device, then you can be able to easily request for this software and you're able to invoice.
All right.
Now, the other one we have is what we call an online portal.
So before you continue, because I'm pretty sure even for the viewers,
yes,
they're probably going step and step with us.
Okay.
So they went to the eTIMS website.
Oh, they went to, yes.
Yes, and so I'm also on that website,
yes,
and it's requesting me, so it has the user ID as well as the password,
yes,
for the login. So in case I don't have this, you have to sign up.
Yes.
So when you tap the sign up button, it requires the sign up, it requires a PIN.
Yes.
So which PIN do you have?
Your business PIN. It could be your individual PIN if you are a sole proprietor, or the business PIN if you are a limited or a partnership.
Okay.
So once you enter your PIN there, it will ask you to verify. And then when you verify, then it will give you details that are relating to your PIN as registered on iTax, because iTax is a mother system. So if the details are not correct, then you can go back to your iTax and be able to change that. And it will reflect the correct details, because sometimes you find that maybe when the time you register, the phone number that you're using is not the phone number that you're using currently.
Yes.
So it will allow you to change.
Right.
Yes.
So it has prompted me after hitting the PIN button.
Yes.
Now for the PIN, taxpayer name, taxpayer type.
Yes.
The mobile, email, taxpayer PIN, password.
Yes.
Verify again the password.
Yes.
And prompts an OTP.
Yes. So the OTP is just for validating that the details that you have are actually yours and you're the person doing it, because now you see the OTP with the number that you've inputted, you'll be the same person who will receive the OTP just to authenticate.
Right.
Yes.
So I won't fill in all this because I don't have a business. But back at home, tell us, how is this process? How, if you, in case you're just doing this process with us, how is it going on? And also, you can always call in live. The expert is here with us. 0795-045-864 is our number. Call in live and throw in all those particular questions so that would be as simple as it is. So now, tumeelewa all this bit.
Yes.
So now back to the online.
Yes. So now that part is what we call the sign up.
Okay. So
sign up.
Okay.
Yes. So probably what I'll do, let me list first the solutions, and then we go back to the whole process for all of them. Don't mind my handwriting. I was supposed to be a doctor. I don't know. So now, So now, I'd mentioned that this one is a software that you use for both Windows and Android. The other one is just an online portal for those who are in services, like the doctors, the lawyers, the accountants, the consultants. They just need to log into somewhere and generate an invoice. Then now we have the businesses which have already automated their systems. They have the QuickBooks, they have the SAP, they have all those systems, even custom-made systems. Restaurants and all that. So those ones, they don't need to go and now bring another software. What they just need to is to reach out to the vendor who gave them the software and request them to integrate to TIMS. So that is what we call system-to-system integration, and all the documents about the integration are actually on our website that allows for you to do that integration. Now, once you select which solution you want based on the categories I've given, is where now you do the sign-up process. And the sign-up process is where you go to this itims.kra.go.ke. If you have credentials, which is just a PIN and a password, you're able to log in. And at that login is where the people under online portal will be able to invoice. So it means they don't go elsewhere. If you want to install it on your phone, it's the same portal that you will request for the software by doing what we call a service request. A service request is where you are saying that I need Android software to be able, an TIMS software to be able to install in my Samsung Android phone or whichever phone that you have. So you'll be able to fill in a form where it's called a commitment form. This is the form where you select the solution that you want and give your details of the company and details of the director, and then sign it, and then we are able to know the solution that you are requesting, and also we are able to review and tell you probably what you're requesting is not suited for you, okay? So that we are able to assist you. And it's something that you don't need to do when you're at KRA offices. You just do on your own, like now where you are.
Okay.
Yes, and even we have user guides of how to do that process, so you don't have to worry that you'll get stuck. We've done a step-by-step in video form and also in PDF format. So once you do the service request, then KRA will review the request and approve.
All right. So now there's a caller from Nairobi, Julius. Julius, habari asubuhi?
Yeah, mzuri sana.
Uko na swali ama maoni? Tuko na tax expert hapa maneno ya TIMS.
Yes. Niko na swali.
Uliza.
Actually, my problem is that I'm TIMS compliant, but my problem is that the PIN of the company has been put on something we call special table.
All right.
I'd like to kindly the expert from KRA to address the issue of special table, because I've been following up with that issue of how they are going to remove me from special table. I'm compliant, invoicing and returns. But the problem is that when I call the agent or the tax manager, I've been told that we have like 100 companies on special table. And the ISO, and I'm very sure he is aware of ISO from his site, I've been told that the ISO is doing audit on all those companies. But on a follow-up, I've been told that my PIN has been audited and the audit is complete. But I'll have to wait until the 100 companies also, or the companies that are on special table, the audit to be complete for all the 100 companies.
All right.
Is that not holding me hostage for doing business because I cannot do any business, LPOs, I cannot be paid, or I cannot transact any business because I don't have tax compliance, or I'm being hindered by the special table caveat?
Right.
Kindly let the expert address on that.
Right. Before ukate, let me Momanyi, umepata swali yake?
Yes, nimepata.
All right. So hold it there. Asante sana Julius for watching. Salimio to Nairobi pahali uko. 0795045864. Call in and ask all those questions that you have concerning this particular system, the TIMS system. Yes, before you continue,
yes.
Na before swali yake ihepe kwa akili,
okay.
You could answer him.
So, Julius, apologies for that inconvenience, but what you realize with a special table is just a means of trying to regularize the tax compliance. And normally when you're placed on special table, it means that probably there are some inconsistencies with your records, and continuous activation of that account would be able to lead maybe to further penalties and further inconsistencies. So it's a temporary place where pins are placed, where now you need to reach out to the tax station or the people keeping the records for your compliance, so that you are able to actually regularize the inconsistencies. And once you regularize that, I think he mentioned something about waiting. Currently, we don't have that waiting. As soon as you are done, then the information is actually submitted to the relevant parties to be able to actually process it and activate back your PIN so that you can be able to continue. So I think Julius should reach out to us so that we can be able to facilitate, because I know having your PIN not being able to transact, then it's a challenge for him as a business person, and we'll be so much willing to facilitate him with that activation.
All right.
Yes.
Remember, you can always be part of this conversation. Again, 0795045864. I'll be getting to know if we have another caller. But then, so before now that particular caller, you're taking us through the whole
Yes.
bit.
I was mentioning that when you do a service request is where you select the particular solution that you want. And once you select the solution and it's approved at the KRA end, then you can go ahead. If it's something that you're downloading, you can just download it and have it installed on your device so that you can be able to actually start invoicing immediately.
All right.
For those who are doing system-to-system integration, it means that the person who's doing integration, and the beauty with TIMS is that you can, if you're a technical person, or if you're a company that has the technical capacity within your company, you don't need to reach out to anyone to do the integration. You can do it for yourself.
Right.
Because we have companies which even have IT departments. So you see such companies, you cannot recommend them then to go to another IT person, and they have the skills within the company.
Okay.
But for those who don't have the skill also, they have not been left out. We've published a list of integrators so that they can integrate any invoicing system that you're currently using. And if it's not part of what we've published, then if you reach out to them, they'll start the process because they understand the process well, and they'll be able to actually integrate you. So you don't move away from your comfort zone. So what we try to do with this solution is to get to where businesses are doing business. So if you have your own invoicing system, we get you there and we ask you to integrate, and then you are able to comply.
Right.
If your services, then we give you a web portal. If you don't have a system, then you can use that to do your services. And for those who are doing both goods and services, then we give you a software that you can install and be able to invoice.
Right. Andrew, there's a question here for you on our X page. Eric Osogo says, hello, I can't find my TIMS window password. How do we reset the password for the web-based application?
You just need to do select forgot password.
Okay.
And then you're able to, you remember the phone number that we were clarifying earlier. That's where you'll be able to actually reset. But if it's proving to be a challenge, you can reach us out on our email, and we'll be able to actually do the reset on our back end if the front end is not responding.
Right.
Yes.
So now, earlier on, you were saying that you've been doing teachings on this different parts of the
yes.
country, the whole of Feb, as well as you're going to do this for this month as well.
Yes.
But then this month as well is so the deadline for the mandatory TIMS onboarding is the end of this month.
Yes.
The 31st
of March.
I'm curious, first of all, why the end of this month? And before we hold that thought, let me tell you, have a caller. Is it Irene? Eric, habari asubuhi.
Nzuri sana.
Unatupiga ukiwa wapi?
Napiga kutoka Eldoret.
Thika Road.
Eldoret.
Oh, Eldoret. All right, uko na swali our expert hapa.
About that password eTIMS. I'm using the eTIMS 1.1 client, but I don't feel I can check my password. The KRA pin, your user ID, password. And if I forgot password, get the only again another again.
All right. I don't know. Have you got the question?
No, I didn't get it clearly.
Eric, unaweza rudia swali tena ndio akupate vizuri.
The Windows application system, the eTIMS.
Oh, the Windows.
Okay.
It doesn't have a place where you can take the password.
It doesn't have a place where you can get the password, ama?
Reset.
Or reset the password. Okay.
That's for the Windows?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Oh,
Okay,
right.
you know, for Windows, what usually happens with Windows, you're supposed to first have, with any system, there's usually the admin or the person who has all the rights. So whenever you're creating, you need first to create the admin of the system, because normally we give you a temporary admin, meaning it's a short-term password that expires, that you'll are able to sign in or log in, and then now after that you create your own admin. So once you create your own admin, and then you create users. So for example, I have 2 cashiers. I'll create myself as the admin, and then I'll create Stanley as one of the cashiers, and then I'll create another person. So you'll find that anytime there's a challenge with Stanley accessing the system, I'll log in as admin and reset that password.
Okay.
So I think the challenge with the caller is that maybe they didn't set the admin password, so you're not able to access. You only set one, which is the user account. And once you set the user account, then once it's still the admin and it's still the user. So if you are unable to access, then you'll have to seek assistance from KRA office.
So does this mean now this reflects mostly on service providers? Let's say, for example, in hotels, in the hospitality industry, for example, the day-to-day kind of services?
No. It's basically, you see now for any system, like maybe if you want to log in into your laptop, it will ask you for the username or the credentials for logging in.
Right.
And if you want probably to do further things like installations and all that, it will require admin rights, meaning that you need to log in as a person with full privileges. So the same way with also that system, it will just require you to have credentials with full credentials or full system rights, and then you're able to actually get in and do reset and all those things.
All right.
Yes.
So now before Eric from Eldoret called, I was now posing the whole bit of why the 31st of March. Basing on, I mean, right now we'd have, some of these callers and even the kind of messages you're getting on, I still understand this, I still don't understand this.
Yes.
As KRA, do you feel like the 31st of March is too soon?
Not really. The deadline as per the law is 31st December. So, and one of our mantras is that KRA cares, and we still care. And so for business continuity, we took an administrative way of just allowing business continuity and also compliance, because KRA is not there to enforce or punish people. It's basically there to facilitate that compliance. But how do we do that? Usually during festivities, people close and come back on the 15th.
Okay. Hold that thought. I'm being told we have Kisia from Eldoret. Kisia, habari asubuhi?
Jambo.
Asante sana kwa kutupigia. Uko na swali kwa expert wetu?
Niko na swali.
Uliza tafadhali.
Na hili swali linatokana na vile napoendeshwa naweza sema Eldoret, sababu wakati niliandikisha kama Mkenya upande wa KRA. Nilikuwa Nairobi. This is it was year 2008. I was a student. Na tangu hiyo wakati sikuwahi file returns mpaka saa hii. Reason being nilitoka Nairobi nikakuja Eldoret. So kila ninapotembea kwa ile branch pale nataka nisaidiwe nifanye mambo hayo. Naambiwa nirudi back to Nairobi mahali nilifanya registration. So nakosa kuelewa. Hii vile penalty zinaendelea kupanda. Ni wao watanilipia ama ni mimi nitakuja kulipa? Sababu wakati nimeenda kule nikauliza, nimefika ngapi? Nikaambiwa 22,000. Na wao ndio wananiambia niende Nairobi na mali nilikuwa nimefanyia registration. It was just on a cyber, sio kwa ofisi. Sasa hapo yeye kama expert ananisaidia namna gani ili niweze kufile my returns?
All right. Asante sana Kisia. I'm pretty sure now we'll be getting more of the whole questions on matters now, filing returns.
Yes.
As much as we're discussing matters TIMS, but definitely.
Yes. I think one of the reasons why we've introduced TIMS is to allow flexibility in or to simplify the return filing process.
Oh, okay.
And this is because we've realized that through engagements, people are having challenges with that process. And if the system can be able to do it for you, yours will just to be reviewing. These are the details. Because right now with employees, if you're a deducted payee and you go to your account, you'll be able to see the credits. So even for business, people would want them to see the details within their returns and be able to see. So coming back to Kisia, and I think Eldoret is, I don't know whether you have big viewership there. Or
yes. Most people across the country, but Eldoret seems to have woken up early in the morning.
Okay, that's good. So I would want to tell Kisia to take advantage of, we have an amnesty program running. What it means with the amnesty program is that if you have penalties and interest that were accruing from 2022 up to the date that you took the PIN, then KRA is willing to waive those penalties. But that is limited up to June. So you need to take advantage now, file all your returns. The penalties and interest that will accrue there, seek for amnesty by just doing the application on iTax. And it will be able to waive, and then you start on a clean slate going forward. And you don't need to visit a KRA office to do that. You just need to, filing of returns is a web-based activity. You can be able to log into iTax anywhere, file, and then seek for that amnesty. If there are any taxes to be paid, then we allow for installments up to the end of June. So if he would have taken advantage of that, maybe probably last year, he would have had ample time to pay any taxes that are due. But in terms of penalties and interest, will be waived. For purposes of changing his tax station, you just need to update. I think the challenge that he's having, he still has his details in iTax appearing as the address is in Nairobi, the residence is in Nairobi, so you cannot be able to actually show that you moved. So you need to update your details on iTax and indicate now the current addresses and all that, and then now the process will now start.
Right, we have another caller, John. John, habari asubuhi. John, habari asubuhi, natupigia ukiwa wapi? John, hello. Right, nika tumepoteza John. Keep talking to us on our socials. And also call in live after credits tupigie simu. We get all those particular questions that you have concerning the TIMS system. In case you're a trader, in case small scale trader, in case you're a farmer, this really is for you, the TIMS system. So before now, Kisia called, we're getting into understand e-deadline.
Deadline.
Born on the 31st of March. And I'm pretty sure most of this, and even callers would really be getting to understand.
Yes.
Born on the 31st of March.
As I had mentioned, the deadline actually, as per the law, is 31st December. So what it meant is that come 1st of January 2024, everyone was supposed to issue TIMS compliant invoices. And also we have those who had onboarded on our earlier system called TIMS. Which is now the device-based approach. Even those ones, they are okay. So now what happens is that anyone who is doing business from that fast, they needed to be issuing these invoices through an electronic form. Now, learning how Kenyans always are last-minute people, and also getting feedback of people who still need more time is where now KRA administratively, not the law part, because the law does not allow for any extension.
Right.
So we administratively allowed people 3 months to finish whatever process was pending, so that come 1st of April, then everyone would be using the system. So it's just an administrative process to allow for completion of whatever was pending.
Right.
Yes.
Right. You can have the pen back and have a seat as we now get into the final thoughts.
Okay.
Just telling us, final thoughts and also an advice, because we definitely have this conversation continuing.
Yes.
Even as Kerry is saying, you want to really talk to people out there. People won't really understand what this is. So your final thoughts on how the importance, why at the end of the day, why do I need to get into this system?
Yes. I think it's very important to understand that basically if you're in business, then it's important to keep records, so that like our friend who called and says accrued penalties. You see, one of the questions he might be asked is, did you do any business, or what income activity were you doing? And for that, probably what will help is the records that you kept. But now with TIMS being a software-based solution, and it allows for keeping of those records in a digital manner, you can be able actually to log in or get to your solution and see all those records, and even retrieve for purposes of your tax liability. And that allows you to have a way of doing your declarations in a very easy manner.
Okay.
Because you see, for example, that farmer that we were talking to, how will they be able to know that they sold avocado last week and they sold mangoes this week and all that? But through that system, they are able to have their records kept, and they'll be able to actually retrieve at any point that they want. And even in business for growth, it will assist them to keep records in a manner that all entities require. The second thing is that for those who would be filing their income returns from business, the expenditure that you incur as a business would not be allowed to be deducted. The way you do your income and expenses, and then to be able to determine your profit, so that you can levy your taxes on it. Then if those expenses are not supported by an TIMS receipt or a TIMS receipt, then you'll have a challenge admitting it in your returns. And that's why it's important to always have these documents available in either digital format or even hard copy. And so we've brought flexibility within that keeping of those records, and through the solutions that people already have. And also the categories of the solutions are suited for different taxpayers, so meaning that we don't have one shoe fits all. It's various based on the nature, and you are allowed to also change as your business grows, whatever suits you.
Real quick, because Najuapa, in very few seconds, there's a question here. What are the vendors charging for integrating system to system?
Okay, the price is dependent on so many factors, because you cannot have a one cost, because with systems there's complexity. There are people who have branches, there are people who have different pay points, there are people who their system is complex, there are systems which are easy. There are those even who invoice once a year. So with all those complexities, those are what will determine now what you'll be charged based on now those criteria. They took into consideration that cost is a big factor.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Andrew.
Thank you too.
And hopefully we'll get to have this